All right. Okay. All right. Now I'm there. Good morning. Good day. Wherever you are. Welcome. Okay. Okay. All right. Exactly. So just for your information, I'm recording again today. So if you want to say something and not be on the audio, so it's just the audio recorded. If you don't want to be on the audio, you can write in the chat. So feel free to just speak.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Or feel free to write if any, in case any question is what apparently happens. Apart from that, there's not much to say because basically there is no message. There isn't anything that could be said which would on the one hand be true and which on the other hand would add something to wholeness. So nothing can add anything to what apparently happens, and nothing can take away anything from what apparently happens. And in that sense, what apparently happens is just everything. It's naturally whole and it's naturally complete. And it's exactly this, one could say, being you, being me, the screen, computer, the room you are sitting in, all of that is naturally whole and complete. But one could say it's whole and complete for no one, which means that there is no awareness about this being whole and complete. There isn't a separate observer, there isn't a separate awareness which knows or recognizes this to be whole. It's not an additional state, or it's not an additional circumstance, so to speak. That's what the person would assume, that everything is whole and I'm also somehow there, sitting in the wholeness and experiencing it, sitting in fulfillment and being aware of it. And as we speak about today, on a very superficially, we could regard that as an illusion, as the dream, the impression to be something, the impression that there is something in here which I am, or which I truly am. So this would refer to I'm a person, I'm a human being, I'm presence, I'm awareness, actually I'm a soul, or anything that could be me, in separation, in contrast to all the other things which are not me. My thoughts, my feelings, the world, other people, the room, my story, all those seen from the personal experience, all those things seem to be not me, while there is something which is actually me. All of that isn't wrong. There isn't a real problem with that. If that is what apparently happens, that there is this impression to be someone, that's what apparently happens. And it's, of course, whole and complete, but of course, also for no one. So there also isn't a recognition that this is whole and complete. The apparent dilemma, so to speak, which is also apparent, it's not real, but the apparent dilemma is that within that setup, there is also a sense of unfulfillment and a seeking drive, and the assumption that this can be fulfilled, or that this can be made to go away, or that that I'm an unfulfilled person, that I can do becoming a fulfilled person. All of that would be part of that setup, so to speak. And basically, that's the assumption for that person, that I'm in a situation that's not fulfilling, and that I can go into a fulfilled situation, that I can arrive in a fulfilled situation. And fulfillment would be when I'm aware of it, when I'm aware of having arrived, when I'm aware of everything is good, when I'm feeling good all the time, when fulfillment has become my conscious experience. So that's the hope, that's the dream. So what this message is saying basically is that this whole setup is the illusion. The whole impression to be something, living in a separate world, being unfulfilled, and the need to find something else, that whole thing is the dream, so to speak. On the other hand, one could say there just is no one. There isn't anyone. There isn't anyone who has lost anything, and there isn't anyone who needs to find something. In that sense, all the methods, all the ideas that the person has about what it has to do or become in order to be fulfilled would all be part of that dream. There is no method. There is no goal. There is no one separate. There is no one on a path. There is no additional realization to what happens. And the big surprise, kind of, for no one is that what happens, what already happens, exactly how it already is whole. It's just naturally and blindly whole by being itself. There is no other way. There is no other possibility. There is no separation. It's just this. This in the story, one could say, this is the difference, this is the apparent difference to a teaching. There isn't anyone. There is no one who could evolve. And there is no need to, of course. That was basically it from my side. So. Okay. Fair question in the chat. One of my friends who has listened to one of your talks says it's almost the same thing as non-duality teachings, which offer a practice. And I was arguing that to me they are totally different. It's strange how this is not obvious for everyone. Yeah, Yeah, one could say so. On the one hand, it's strange, yeah. On the other hand, of course, well, it's what happens. Now, of course, on the other hand, the person would, of course, this assume to be a personal teaching as well. So, yeah. Yeah. And of course, you find those, the concepts, so to speak, you also find those in personal teachings. But of course, they are also accompanied by the assumption that there is a practice for you to arrive there. Yeah. But yes, there are people who think this is just another path. This is just another approach for someone to approach wholeness. So you can do practices, you can do anything, or you can also listen to this, and that this is one approach amongst others. Yeah. And in a way, though, the person can't process it differently, also in a way. So, yeah. It goes on in the chat. Yeah, it sounds unrelated. Fear that we each have our ways to avoid hearing what is said. Yeah, well, kind of. Kind of, yeah. I mean, not that anything can be heard, but of course, to be to experience oneself as a person is the way to avoid what's being said, so to speak. Yeah. Okay, it goes on in the chat. Hi, Andreas. Are feelings and stories two different things? Well, oh, yeah, well, why no? Yes, of course. Apparently, because feelings are feelings and stories are stories. So, and I know some people say everything is a story or something, but in the end, nothing is really a story. Everything just is what it is. But one could say every thought or every sentence that's spoken is rather a story than a truth or a lie. So, but of course, what is or what apparently happens is not a story. It's unknowable. It's the natural reality. But as I said, any thought or information or what we speak, those are all stories, apparently. In that sense, feelings aren't stories, they are just wholeness or what apparently happens. Okay, next question. Andreas, when you talk about emptiness, you refer to empty of judgments, meaning, and purpose, and everything is, just is. Kind of, because actually I would also say it's empty of reality. The thing is that the person assumes things to be real things. And yes, you are right, containing meaning and purpose and a value. But in the end, the assumption that things are separate things that are already, it's more empty even. There aren't even things. What is aren't even things, which are empty. It's more empty. There isn't existence. There isn't, in that sense, there isn't anything that is here now as an existence, so to speak. But yeah, additionally, but you're right. Additionally, the person assumes value in things, within things, or an essence. Yeah, but in the end, all those just are and are not real and unreal, basically. Yes. Okay. Next question. when I look and ask, do I exist? Or if I try to find the me, I can't seem to locate it. But then when I look around the room and see other objects that I notice, space between my body and everything around me, then the me arises and says, oh, this body must be mine. Yes, that's kind of true, but in a funny way, even in the observation, in the inquiry, if there is a me within you, there is somehow the confirmation of there being someone energetically. I know you can't find a center isn't found, and you can't find a me, but still there is some apparent awareness going on about that. So in a very funny way, even the result of the inquiry that there is no one somehow confirms existence, somehow confirms the sense of there being something which suddenly became aware of there being no me. So in the end, in both setups, so to speak, like to go outside with attention and awareness, it may feel more personal and more obvious. But in the end, any kind of inquiry ends up with there being someone who becomes aware of something or who notices something, I would say. There's still, because in a way that's a funny thing. The person is somehow a self-experience, which isn't really logical. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, how do you see you are different from body and mind? Well, in the end, I don't at all, because there isn't anything that's different from anything. But one could say the only thing which experiences body and mind to be real things would come from a separate standpoint. And in the end, there isn't anything which is different from anything. So I don't see that. There isn't anything different from me, but of course there is also no me to experience that everything is the same, for example. That would be the conclusion of the person. If you are not different from anything, everything is the same or something. But there just is no processing of what is or how it is at all, and no processing of what is me and what's not me, except in the story, of course. There are things like my money exists, or apparently. Okay, next question. Can you say more about there is no separation, please? Well, in a way, that's exactly what can't be spoken of, really. But no separation is not an experience. It's not another experience that there is no separation. It's not another state or another circumstance, so to speak, that can be observed and confirmed. In the end, one could say the only thing which experiences separation is the person. The only thing that says or experiences as I'm me is the me, so to speak. Awareness, self-awareness, presence, soul, the person. And by saying I am me, it automatically separates itself from everything else. Because the moment I am only me, I'm not the table, I'm not my thoughts, I'm not the room and all those things, but I am me, a separate part, which is. But what we talk about here is exactly that this impression doesn't have any reality at all. So what's being said is that the only thing which experiences separation is an illusion. That's, so to speak, the end of separation. But there's no one and nothing left which is aware of that. Seen from the person, that's just death. No separation is death, or the end of the experience of separation, or deep sleep, or however you want to call it. In that sense, there's no separation, not anything that can be described. There just can be an apparent description of separation, but it's an apparent description because it's not real. But of course, it would be exactly this experience, to be separate, which overlays everything with the assumption of separation. So the moment you become aware of being, everything else seems to be also things. You're a thing, the table is a thing, the other people are things, other subjects, other people. Yeah. Okay, next comment. Do things become apparent only when they are intercepted by the me? For example, I'm aware of something, it's happening to me, and this is what meaning I give to it. Yeah, one could say so. Yeah, basically the illusion that things are things, so to speak, only happens for the illusion to be a thing oneself, to be a subject. Exactly. I'm aware of me being, or of there being something. Then if the attention goes towards the outside, there's an awareness of a world, but it's also separate things. And then out of the instantaneous sense of unfulfillment, there is the need to do something with it. Usually that's just inventing a story or trying to understand how it is or give meaning to it. I mean, in a way, seen from the person, what is experienced is meaningful because it carries the potential to find fulfillment in it. So, of course, what I experience somehow needs to be important because maybe there is peace to be found. But yes, this would all somehow belong together. Yeah. Okay, next question. How do you see me is an illusion? Yeah, that's the funny thing, because in a way, liberation, as I would describe it, wouldn't be me seeing that the me is an illusion. It's rather the melting away of that experience. It's just the death of that, with not really something being seen in that. So it's not really, I'm aware of there actually is no me. It's not that there's a person in me dancing around, but somehow I see that it's not totally real. No, in a way, it turns out that this impression to be someone doesn't even exist. And that simultaneously is the melting away of it. It's really liberation would be like falling asleep in the evening, the complete dissolution, apparent dissolution of the sense of being someone. But in the end, there is no awareness of that. It's not someone arriving in the circumstance of knowing that there is no me or anything like that. It's just the dropping of that. But as I said, there's nothing left which knows that, or there's nothing left which then goes on living in a new reality, like, oh, I'm no one now and I'm free because I know that. Not at all, not a single bit. In that sense, there is also not with this becoming no me, there's also no point of arriving. That's how the person would hope for it, that of course there will be this one moment where I see that there is no me, and then I'll be free. But this moment too never comes. There is no, I don't know, it's it's just the whole thing just turned out to be not even the whole thing. It's not there. Okay, I go on in the chat. Hello, Andreas. From the standpoint of a separate person, the truth can be seen as a mental disease. Well, the opposite is also true. Funny. Yeah, well, whatever you would regard as the truth, but yeah, okay. It doesn't sound as if, it doesn't really sound good or logical. I mean, absence or death isn't really what is sought for. Okay, question. Hello, Andreas. Can you say I'm everything without there being someone? Well, it's kind of course one could say that. I mean, in the end, that's the funny thing. Of course, I am everything, but there is no experience of that. So there is no I sitting in that, which is aware of being everything. But of course, in a very funny way, no separation also means that there is no opposite. There is nothing alien. There is nothing over there. There isn't anything which I'm not also. But as I said, it's not replaced by an experience of I'm everything. So that's why it can't be a statement. It can't be a statement about one's own experience, or this wouldn't be liberation then. But of course, in that sense, there's nothing alien anymore. Everything is the natural reality, and everything is naturally what it is. And in that sense, everything is how I am. Everything is just like me, just empty, no thing, for no reason, no goal, already whole, and all that stuff. Question. The me is the obstacle to the message that is being apparently expressed here. Yes and no. On the one hand, it seems to be like that, but on the other hand, what's being said is that there is no obstacle, because what's being said here is that there is no me. So to say that the me is the obstacle somehow already, on the one hand, is a story, of course, but somehow transfers it into not exactly what's being said here. Because yes, the only thing which has the impression to be separate from wholeness is the person. But what's being said here is that the person itself is a total illusion. There isn't any obstacle between you and wholeness. There is no separation. Okay, just go on with the same. If there is no me, there is no soul, no self-awareness, no self-consciousness, or anything self-related like witness or observer. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and in a way that's already the case. It would be part of a dream that now there is self-awareness and that now there is an observer. There isn't. Okay, next question. What kills the me? How can the me not be happening, not exist? What does that actually mean? Is the like Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy complete fantasy? Yes, one could say so. It's a bit like that. Yeah. Yeah. There's a big story going on about Santa Claus once a time every year around big parts of the world, but he doesn't exist. He never existed also. Oh, I think he did even exist. No, that was the the other guy on December 6th. Well, yes, there was Santa Claus. Yes. What kills the me? I mean, there is no answer to that, because there literally is no me to kill. And in the story, it could be anything or nothing. It just dies. It's just the end of it, or the turning out that it doesn't exist, and there isn't a real cause and effect thing going on. You can't make it happen. And how can the me not be happening? Yes, like in the story, one could say, like in deep sleep. How is it possible that in so-called deep sleep, there is no one aware of him? There is no self-experience. How can that be? Not exist. What does that actually mean? Exactly, there isn't anything or anyone in you. But what that means, how that is, that's unknowable or undescribable. Okay, question. Is the feeling of a center that is an illusion, or rather the content of that impression, meaning the assumption that there is someone there? Well, they go together. How I would regard it, they just go together, because when there is a feeling of being a center, sooner or later, a story about that center emerges from it, which is just coming out of the need for an answer. Because the assumingly impersonal sense of a center, which is the person, somehow is already an unfulfilled experience. So pretty quickly, there is an assumption about, made a story about that. So they go together. Okay, next comment. Mental anxiety seems like a lot of meings in one character, as if one is not enough. Yeah. Okay, question. Hi, Andreas. Sorry, I just came in, so I might repeat stuff. That's all right. But if everything is boundless and no thing, then there is no actual change ever, is there? Yes, exactly. There is no real change. Yeah. Yeah. That would be the hope of the person, that there is change, and then there is a new opportunity to find fulfillment, that things go on and things change, and then if they are different, maybe then I can find fulfillment, because its actual experience is kind of constantly, this is not it, that's not wholeness. So every change holds the promise that maybe this is the right circumstance. And it never is. It never really changes. That's, one could say, nothing is being found, because there isn't anything new that happens. And every new feeling and every new circumstance and every new thing isn't really new. There wasn't a real change going on. Nothing turned into something else. There wasn't one real circumstance which becomes another new, different circumstance. Absolutely. Nothing is changing. There isn't a real change going on. That's the dream, that there are new things, and that maybe this new feeling is it. Maybe this time the happiness is it. Maybe this new insight is it. Okay, it goes on. I meant with no actual change that there is no change in life. No one moment to another. I mean, change doesn't exist in there. Exactly. Oh yeah, there is no change. Also, when there's no sense of me. Oh yeah, of course. Especially then. Or when there is the sense of me, there is the illusion of change all the time. But yeah, oh yeah, there isn't, of course. There isn't a real happening in a way, which could change or which could stay the same. It's just totally unknowable how it is, what is, boundless, no thing. Okay, next question. If it was just a seemingly gradual melting away, was there no surprise or shock for you, as some people report with awakening? No, I didn't even notice it. There was no event at all. There was not even a beep, nothing. No event at all. Yeah. It was smoother than smooth. No, there wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. There wasn't even an it. There was no event. There was literally no event, me, no me. There was no step. Nothing. Not one, but not even that. Nothing. No event at all.
Andreas,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Well, it was absolutely the opposite of what I expected. Because I was always waiting for something to happen. Yeah. And it's waiting for something that never comes. Even in the story, when there is kind of a happening, it actually always is this non-happening, where nothing happens. And it's really as if the person is constantly waiting for something to happen. Something, no matter how small it is. But I will be there and I'll be aware of it, of this huge breakdown or this small step. Never comes, doesn't happen. Doesn't happen in anyone's awareness. And yes, in the story, even in the story, I didn't have an event. But one can make a story even out of that.
Well, that just stunned me. That stunned me.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. 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 It stunned me too, actually.
Andreas?
Yes?
Jim, for example, says that when he dropped,
Yes.
he had to learn how to walk again.
Yeah.
And I don't know what. And Tony Parsons said that also, although it's a non-event, it was like, right, this is it, or whatever. So what is that? Because it has more sense that what you're saying, that you didn't realize nothing happened at all. But here it looked like something happened.
Oh yeah, but in the story, it can be but it's a story, but it can be anything. Death can be a car crash, and death can be the slow fading out over the years. And if you get a car crash, then it's a car crash. Like, oh, there is no one. Well, whatever. But it could just be fading out. I mean, the whole thing is a story, so it's not logical at all, because there is no real presence of someone, no real death of all that stuff. But you can get anything you want. It can be intense, it can be smooth, there can be fighting, there can be letting go, just like in dying, so to speak. In that sense, it can be anything. But still, for the person, the dream would be that it isn't it, and it happened when I was there being aware of it. So the funny thing is, even when there's
I lost you. Uh,
oh, there was a break, maybe you
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I don't know when
You're back.
Yes, I'm back, but where did it stop? What did I say?
I don't know.
Yeah, cool.
But I got the idea. I mean,
Yeah,
it's in
cool.
the story. I got the idea. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, yeah. But I have to admit that I know more people. It's a story again. But I know more people who are just fading out and don't have a clear event. It's somehow, just normal death, ordinary.
Do you know many people?
Well, a few, quite some, yeah.
Yeah.
Ah. Usually they don't speak about it.
Yeah, I think the only ones that speak about this are Tony, Jim, you, and Kenneth Madden.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else. No.
There's another guy from Germany I would take in, but
Who?
his name is Karl Renz. But I don't know him so well. He's been doing it for 20 years or more. But as I said, I don't know him very well. I don't know him in person very well. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Andreas.
Thank you. Okay, I just go on in the chat. Hi, Andreas. When hope and seeking drop, it feels as if me is absolute emptiness and drowning into itself. Huge fear. Is that what me is? Emptiness? Well, yeah, in the end, one could say so. It's as empty as everything else, which would be another way of saying that there is no me. There just isn't anything. There just isn't anything. And somehow facing that, which is already a story, is facing one's own death. Yes.
Hi, Andreas. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, hi there. Yeah, I asked that question about the gradual and the Big Bang, so to speak, because that's what seems to be happening or happened here, the sort of gradual melting away. And there doesn't seem to be any seeking anymore or suffering. But I couldn't, like you and Jim and Tony and other Kenneth seem to say. I mean, also Rebecca Maroon had this seemingly gradual melting away of experience of me, but I couldn't say, like everyone else does, like you do, for sure, that if someone asked me, is there a me there, I couldn't say yes or no.
Oh yeah, me too, not.
But yet when speakers like yourself talk about it, and Tony talked about it, you go, but there's no one here.
Yes.
And you would you say that if someone said, you know, you would say there's no one here?
Oh yeah, but it's a direct response and not coming from someone having a look.
Yeah.
So there never is anyone who can say if there is someone or not.
No,
It's
but
unanswered. There is no answer to that.
no,
But
but
of course, as a function, as an apparent function, there can just be the direct response.
yeah.
Who do you
But
refer
someone,
to?
but,
No,
but
it's not
someone,
thought. It's not something that I know for sure, because there is no I. Not because I doubt, just because there is no one in the first place to do so.
yeah,
But this will never happen, that you or someone can say, oh, I'm not there anymore. It's a story. It's a total story.
mm,
There is no ending point. That's what the person hopes, that there is at some moment in my life, there is this point where I can say this sentence. Never, never.
yeah, that's how it
I
seems.
can't.
There's no end. Yeah.
I can't. This is not a personal message. There isn't anyone speaking here. It's not coming from me having come to this point where I can certainly say that there is no one.
Mm,
But every time when I'm asked, there is nothing there, and the report is there is no one.
right. So when someone asked me that, which they did, the answer was, I don't know.
Yes, which is also a story, because there is no I there, which can not know.
Mm,
It's another story. I don't know.
mm,
Who's there to not know?
mm. Well, there's no one there to not know, but there's just not knowing.
Yeah.
But they still are not sure.
Ah.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's that all about then?
Oh, well, I don't know what you want to be sure about. I mean, the assumption that you could be sure about anything would somehow is connected to the idea of the possibility to arrive somewhere.
Mm,
But nothing is certain, of course.
mm.
Nothing. 1 + 1 is 2 is not certain.
So when the experience of me had melted in you, apparently, did you did it take a while to sort of have that uncertainty?
So, oh, there is no certainty.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no certainty in me about anything.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like seeking. It just seems like unknowing and uncertainty here.
All right.
There's nothing in day to day apparently going about things. There's nothing to seek.
Yes.
And listening to talks is for pleasure rather than to get anything. But yeah, it's just that sort of, yeah. But I think you've answered it really.
Again, the last sentence.
Sorry, I think you've answered it really. There's no certainty. There's no definite knowing, and that is, I suppose, that's the surprise really, in a sense.
Oh,
That there
what would
isn't.
say so? No one arrives in anything. There is no one to do so. There is no certainty about anything, so to speak.
Mm.
Because there is
And,
no real reality in the first place where certainty could happen in.
mm. I suppose it's noticing what's not there.
Mm.
That things are no, I don't know, that, well, things that, there's a difference, isn't there? There's the things, the suffering that used to be here
Yes, but that's not, but
memories
that's
of,
exactly, but that's already a story. I don't know of any suffering that has left me. I would,
but do you have memories of when you used to suffer? Because memories are still there.
I know what you mean, and yes, in a way they are there, but it's
Yeah.
almost work.
It's almost what, sorry?
It's almost work.
Yes, yes, it is. Yeah, you have to go to
Yeah.
the apparent mind and the apparent memories to.
Yeah, and the other thing is that even when there was this suffering, it was apparent suffering. So
Yes, yeah, I see what
yeah,
you mean.
so
Yeah,
yes, that would
yeah,
all be in the story. Yes, of course, things seem to have changed, but it's a story. It's not certain. It can't be known. I can't claim that for me, that there was this real life going on, and now there really is much less suffering. I don't. I I have no idea.
mm, mm. Yeah, that's great. Lovely.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there are a few more questions. Oh yeah, still have time. Okay, the next one is a bit longer. You mentioned that the me is contraction in the body. Well, can't, partly, I don't really say it, but it seems to be suggested here that there's nothing I can do about it because I don't exist. Yes, in the end, it's even that contracted energy, it's exactly that contracted energy in the body, which has no substance at all. My story is, based on my life experience, I work with a therapist on body work. And over the years, it seems that the more work I do on my body, the more it opens and the me loosens its grip more and more. So it seems very promising. Yeah, the question is to whom? But I'm on a journey. The more work I do, the more the contraction will loosen, and then I get enlightened. Can you speak to that, please? Well, not really, because I can just say that's a story. That this, or well, on the one hand, this is what apparently happens. You doing that, you feeling that, and you drawing that conclusions. But what seems to be happening is a sense of a person within all of that, to whom this is happening, and who plays a role in that. That's what apparently happens. In the story, one could say whatever comes out of that would be whatever comes out of that. In the end, not because there really is someone who can do or can't do anything. But yes, in the story, life seems to lead to death. So not really dependent on if you go to a therapist or not. So, I don't, it's hard to just comment. What would be the question to that? What's exactly the question? Okay, next question. Andreas, I don't want change better. I don't want change better feeling be happy. I only don't want experience everything. Oh, yeah, but why? I mean, this, you think that that feels better, or that this is a better experience then? No. It's still someone hoping for an advantage somewhere. And of course, when life, so to speak, is too painful, of course, me in some way or the other can long for its absence, or it wants to wipe everything out, of course. But of course, subtly, it still assumes there to be personal release, which is all right. There's nothing wrong with that. But the basic assumption is still, I'm here. I'm imprisoned into hell, if my life is hell, so to speak.
Hey, Andreas.
That's one. But the other
Yeah.
thing is, you also can't even kill yourself. There isn't anyone to kill. You can't. If it's what happens, you can't make yourself go away. It'll come back again and again and again. Yes. Okay.
I think that's what I'm still stunned by what you said before, that there wasn't even a noticing
Yes.
of. I think that's the greatest thing you ever said. I don't know.
Ooh, after all those years, finally.
Because then there's nothing to wait for. There's nothing to wait for.
Oh, of course, there's nothing to wait for. Not a single bit. Yeah. That's part of the dream, waiting for anything to happen. No, there is nothing to wait for. This is it, exactly as it is. There is no me. Already.
Wow.
Yes. There is no me. Well,
look at you fired up. Thanks.
Thank you.
Andreas,
Yes.
is it like a character in a dream? Like if the dream ends, the character never was there, it will never know anything, nothing. It has, what's left, sort of speak, it has nothing to do with the character.
Well,
Do you know
what's
what I'm
left?
saying?
Yeah, what's left has nothing to do with the story that the person was telling itself about
Yeah,
what it is and how it is and what it will be and what it's about and who I am, who the others are, what God is, and which role the stars play in the whole game. And yes, of course, it's all.
Yeah, because you know what, the longing here, it would be that the me drops, the whole story of the me drops, but somehow there's something that will remain, that
Yeah, of
will
course,
know or
that's the hope.
whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the character in the dream. That is what will disappear.
Yeah, exactly. The one that hopes that it'll still be there when it happened. That's the dream, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. But I am the dream, so there's nothing I can do. I mean, this will go on until it doesn't.
Yeah, which already is the story.
It's
There is
not, yeah,
something
it's not
that is
happening really because it's a dream.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Yes. It's kind of like a contradiction because I really want to get something.
Yes.
But, I get the idea that, I am a dream. So, I could never get anything.
Yes.
But
And now you
it's
want to get
just,
something from that idea.
yeah.
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 Yeah. Apparently, of course.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Hey,
Yes.
one more. Sorry.
Yes, please.
Can you repeat that? That there's nothing happened. There wasn't even a noticing. Can you just say that again?
Oh, you hope that
Yeah.
yes, there was no event. Nothing happened. Nothing will happen. The hope for an end. That's what the person is kind of constantly looking for. This one moment where I know that it's over, where I'm certain and all that stuff, but that doesn't come. It doesn't happen. This moment does not exist, and it didn't happen for me. There was no event at all. Of course, while I was waiting for something to happen, it never happened. Nothing happened. Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It wasn't as good as before, but
Yeah.
I did what I can. Okay, I think I just go on with a few things in the chat, and at one point I stop. Okay, is it the case where there is no real differentiation between all things perceived? All thoughts in reality are just a thought, no differentiation. Yes, differentiation is appearance given to it by the me. All qualities are given to emptiness by a me. Oh, well, one could also say qualities are what apparently happens. So sadness seems to have a quality, and joy and all that stuff. But basically what the me would oppose on it is its story with meaning, and there being real sadness, which is really different from joy, and joy, which is really different from whatever, anger and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I do the rest. Just please don't add new questions. Okay, you say nothing is happening. How would you describe movement? What is that? That's the thing. It's undescribable. What is, how it is not only unknowable, in the end it's also indescribable. Because for there to be something to describe, you would already need someone who has a look. So impossible to describe movement. There isn't a real movement. Okay, next question. Despite having enough friends and family, I often feel quite lonely. Could you say something about loneliness? Well, in a way, the person is lonely. It's its experience. I'm me, and everything else is separate from me. So I'm alone. And maybe for a while there can be some we going on, which is a few me's, which can kind of give a feeling of unity, for example, melting into a bigger I, we. But basically the person's experience is I'm me, and everything else is not me and is different from me. Of course, that's the illusion that there is someone, not that there is someone lonely or connected. In the end, the dream is that there is someone at all in the first place. Okay, it goes, the Santa is back. It's weird, Santa Claus was made up by someone and they're believed in by others. Santa Claus doesn't believe in himself. All right, the me believes in itself. Weird. Sorry, correction, and then believed in by others. Well, yeah, of course, the Santa Claus picture doesn't really fit, of course. Yes, the only one could say the only thing that believes in me is the me. Nothing else believes in there being a me. It's just the person itself, which assumes itself to be present. Yeah. That's what apparently happens. That's the dream. Second question. How do you look to childhood pictures? What do you feel when you look at them? Do you feel melancholic or not anymore? Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah. But not childhood, but usually just, youth, these good times when everything was still possible, when all the dreams were just... yes, sometimes that can happen. Yeah, all those sweet dreams. Okay, last comment. It seems that this message doesn't offer anything, yes, but simply points to that everything that seems to be real and true and concrete is in fact not. Yes, one could say so, yes. What this message apparently does, it points to, for no real reason, not because it's needed, not because it's important, but it somehow seems to point to how it already is, what apparently happens. Yes, there isn't anything real. There is nothing to find. There is no person. There is no one separate. There is nothing that needs any kind of realization. Yes, the whole world that the person seems to live in has no existence at all. Yep, exactly. That's what apparently happens. Not in order to make something obvious, not in order to create anything new. All of that's not needed. It's not possible on the one hand, but it's also not needed. Because this apparent pointing to how it is already is itself. It doesn't even point to a separate reality. It just is what is pointed to, one could also say. Okay, in that sense, this is it. This was it. There's nothing to gain or to lose. All there is what apparently happens, and it's just naturally and blindly already whole and complete. It's inexperienced already, and it's wild and free and timeless and all those things. So I wish you a wonderful day, and thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. And
thank you, Andreas.
See you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Andreas.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you so much, Andreas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye. Thanks.
Yeah.